All right, hello everyone. I don't want to make a huge intro here, but I kind of want to jump into it because I'm concerned with people's money saving habits, and not really money saving habits, but more just you don't even have the knowledge to make smart money and financial decisions for your future. And that's what I want to go over today are attainable goals, something everybody can do. Keep it super simple and set you up for success when it comes to retirement, and not just retirement but 5, 10, 20 years when you get to different stages of your life to be able to live it the way that you want to live it. And that doesn't have to mean jeopardizing your lifestyle today, right? That's not what we're talking about here. You can live a life and still save for your future. So let's jump into this. Now, obviously, a lot of it does come down to the amount of money you do make, right? Somebody making $40,000 is has to pay for necessities and could possibly go into and will probably go into the debt considering, a lot of things, but let's just assume that someone making a lot more money is going to be able to invest a lot more. But we're going to talk about percentages, percentage based investing rather than dollar investing. And yes, investing $5, $10 may not seem like a lot, but when you take that, do it over a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, and you let that money grow in investment accounts or savings accounts, it will you'll be surprised of how, I don't know what you would call it, like cumulative, or like the cumulative effect, or in investing, I forget what it's called as well, but we're going to go through that. And I'm no expert, right? I'm no expert, but I've been studying this stuff for probably 10, 15 years just through self interest, right? So there's a lot, I'm no Warren Buffett, obviously, but I think these are something every person can do. So, okay, that's enough of an intro. Let's jump into the principles here. So, the first thing I want to talk about is I kind of go off this Dave Ramsey style of investing, at least for these first four steps of the what he calls the, I think it's the baby steps. I think that's what it's called. And essentially what's gonna you're gonna do is you're gonna save $1,000. So that just $1,000 should be in your account at all times, right? You should never drop below $1,000 in your, let's say, your checking account, which would just be your bank account. Then once you have that and it's a consistent $1,000 in your account, you're gonna start to pay off all of your debt except for a house. Now, a lot of us don't even own a house. I'm assuming a lot of the people in this video, they're probably not homeowners. This is not really for the homeowner. I'm not a homeowner, so I really don't know much about that. I'm really talking about investment accounts and savings accounts today. So, you want to be paying off all your debts, your student loans, your credit card debts. That's a big one. And I'm simplifying things, but I don't know a lot about loans. But I know people are I know they're terrible for a lot of people, and people are not getting the returns on them to justify the loan in the first place. That's what I know about. So also be careful of getting yourself into these loans in the first place, investing in education that may not really pay off. That's sort of just the reality of these student loans. I mean, I know people that have, I think they might have taken out like 75K plus in student loans to go to state colleges, and then for what? Now you're saddled with all this debt. It's growing exponentially. It's not good. And the return on your investment there, I mean, you always want to think about the return on your investment, right? I think what is it called? Like, I forget what the theory is, but, and I know I'm rambling now, but I just enjoy talking about this stuff. Is like opportunity cost, would you call it? Where it's like, okay, I'm gonna put my money into this thing instead of putting it into something else. Which essentially it's like, okay, you only have a limited amount of resources, right? You only have a limited amount of money. So you can only put it in a limited amount of places. So should I order insomnia cookies right now and spend $20, $30? Or should I make cookies at home for 10 and then take the other 10, $20, whatever it is, and now keep that in my bank account, right? So, same thing with investment. Should I park my money here or should I park my money there? It's all these decisions. That's all money is. Is like, where do I want to put my money, right? And in some places you lose it completely, like when you're spending it, and in other places for investments you can actually grow it or at least keep it in a checking account where it just kind of remains, right? You just have that power of money and that financial security. So those once you pay off all your debt, right? Then you want to start saving 3 to 6 month expenses. Now, I don't even know if I would agree with this because if you have 75K in debt, you're not paying that off in a short amount of time. I would almost recommend starting to save for 3 to 6 month expense while paying off all the debt you have. Now, and maybe just putting 80% towards the debt, 20% of your pile of cash towards the expenses, like saving 3 to 6 months of your expenses. And all that would be is like, okay, find out what your monthly expenses are, $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 a month, and then obviously multiply it by let's say 5 months, right? You want to be at the upper range of that 3 to 6 month. So, and Ramsey might say that, like, to do those things at the same time, but you definitely want to attack debt aggressively because personally, right now, I do have credit card debt. Right, I have about $3,000, $4,000 in credit card debt, and I'm now I have to pay $60 a month in interest payments. So, I'm making, let's say, $1,000 a month. Let's just say, right? $60 right there. I'm just paying to what? To nothing. I just have a debt with a bank to pay back an expense, and because I spent money in the past, I now I'm not paying more money for that money spent. So you do want to attack debt aggressively, and that's something you obviously don't want to get into debt if you can. For the normal person, right? You really just don't want to be in debt. So okay, so one, two, three. Save $1,000 is one. Pay off all debt. Save 3 to 6 months expenses, and then four would be invest 15% in your retirement account. And what does that mean? To me, that means 401k or an Roth IRA. I think it's a Roth 401k, but you could do research on that yourself. You could be in either. So the 401k would be if you're employed by a private company, they might have a retirement vehicle or I don't know, retirement account, and it's called this. That's what it's called. This 401k versus a Roth IRA, which I believe would just be on your own, right? Roth is just a kind of IRA. So this is again what I'm doing. I don't get a match at work. So if you get a match at work, which would be on your 401k account, you could check that with your employer. You want to invest up to the match. So let's say your employer will match 4%, And I believe that means like 4% of your monthly salary. So what you would do is say, okay, I'll give you 4% of my monthly salary. You'll take it, put it in my retirement account. Now, I'm not going to be able to touch that money until retirement. So you have to keep that in mind as well. Can I afford to give away this much money now? Do I want to give away this much money now for exponential gains? Your that's what the data says is like in whatever it is 40, 50 years, whenever you're retiring, you're now going to have a lot of money, and it's all going to be tax free to pull out. Depending on the style of retirement account, you could pay taxes on the front end, which would be now, or you would pay it on the back end when you take it out. I prefer to pay it now. This way I know, all right, the number in that bank account, the number in that retirement account is all tax free when I start to take it out. Past retirement age, right? There's penalties if you take it out early. And that's why you really need to make that decision for yourself is, okay, yeah, it's great to put money into your retirement account, but can I even afford to put money into your retirement account? Because you shouldn't be using that retirement account as an emergency fund, right? We have an emergency fund set up separately. You should not touch that retirement account unless it is a dire emergency. It should really, in my opinion, be the last thing you touch. I do not touch that. I will sell my investments, my personal investments in stocks way before that. I will drain my savings accounts way before I touch my retirement account because they take out so much. There's a penalty. It's like 30%, 40%, something like that if you subtract that money. So yeah, you might see that you have 20,000 in your retirement account, but you can't get 20,000. So that's something to keep in mind. But when you're looking for the first investment you should make, if you have income, recurring income, is in your retirement. Once you have a steady job, you should be investing for your retirement. If you're just if you're 16 years old, whatever, 14 years old, and you have some money, you have $1,000 you want to spend, go put it in Apple, go put it in Nvidia, go put it in, go have a little fun with it. Go learn about investing, right? Learn how you invest in stocks, which is like a whole different thing. That would be just my recommendation. I mean, yeah, you might lose everything, right? You may, but you might get a great lesson out of it as well. So if I had $1,000 as a kid, I'm not investing in my Roth IRA, but I don't even know if you could do that. But if you have a steady job, you should be investing in a retirement account. Okay. And we're going to talk about, I guess we could talk about it now. How do I do this? How do I do this? It sounds so hard. It is so easy. Even a caveman can do it, right? It is so easy. You could probably go to the bank and have them set it up for you as well. Find out how much you can realistically put into your retirement account. And for you could divide it 401k, Roth IRA, right? Roth IRA is going to give you a little bit more freedom. It's not through your employer. So if you're switching in between, I mean, I don't want to get into all these details really, but there's a difference there. Basically, your IRA is personal. Your 401k is through your company. So again, take the company match if you can. Put the 4%, put the 7% into that retirement 401k that your company offers. That means the company is going to match 7%. So you put 7% of your salary in. Now the company is going to take that same dollar value, whatever that 7% is equal to. Let's say 7% of your salary is $7 because your monthly salary is $100, right? So 7% of 100. So you're going to take $7, put it into your investment account every month, and then the company is going to match that, and they're going to take $7 and they're going to put it into your retirement account. So now instead of, oh, I only put $7 into my retirement account, but because the company put $7, 7 plus 7, $14 now I have in my retirement account. That's free money, right? Yeah, I might not be able to touch it until retirement, but guess what? That's going to come one day, hopefully. And you're going to be glad, you doubled up on your investments, basically, right? I think that's how it essentially works. So do that, and then if you have more money, you can then take part in personal finance or personal investments, I call them. And that's when you can invest in your Roth IRA, which you could talk about maxing out that retirement account. Now, if you're talking about smart investing, yeah, you probably like smart, boring investing. Just max out your retirement accounts, and then call it a day. Maybe actually, I take that back. Maybe put 80% of all the investments into this retirement account, and then 20% of what you were going to invest, put it into like blue chip stocks. Just like individual companies. Because look what's going on. If you had money in Nvidia, Intel, AMD, Amazon, Apple 20 years ago, right? If someone BS'd around and put $1,000 into Apple, $100 into Apple, think how much money they have now. So I wouldn't put all your money just in like retirement accounts, because also you can't touch that money until your retirement. So basically, what I do is in the retirement accounts, I put boring index funds, right? And all I do is I split it up into three categories. 80% of it is going into the S&P 500 index fund, which means the 500, I think this is what it means, but do your own research, of course. The 500 top earning companies in the United States are a part of that fund. So if they do well, you'll do well. Which basically means if the United States economy is doing well, you're going to be doing well in it. And statistically, it goes up and up and up and up year after year, right? In the aggregate. So maybe there's a down period, but by the time you're going to retire, if the market's not in a slump, right? That is a big if. You'll have a lot of money. Well, of course, depending on your investment, but you'll have more money than you do now, and it's worth the investment, right? It's also great knowing that, like, yeah, I'm not going to touch this money. Like, there's no temptation to touch this money, which I think is really helpful. Like in a savings account, it's so easy to touch, or like checking account, it's so easy to spend that money. But it's nice to have this retirement account where you're like, all right, not touching it. It's there. I'm just gonna watch it grow, put it in safe investments. So what I do is 80% S&P 500, and then 10% in a bonds fund. Bonds are, from what I understand, loans to large corporation and government. So we're basically loaning our money to the government and to large corporations. And then you'll make money on that. And then another 10% on an international index fund, which would be, I think, small, mid, and large size publicly traded companies that are not US based. I think it has, I don't know if you're direct, I don't know the details of that, but it has something to do with investing in these in international business. So, even if the US doesn't perform well, you still are diversifying, right? It is 80, 10, and 10. So there's a lot of money there in the US economy. So there is risk there, right? Like I would agree there is risk there. So you have to also look at that. and decide for yourself, like, what's right for me. But you could see how easy it is for me, right? I'm taking those three things. Those are index funds. So it's not in one company. An index fund is a bunch of different companies aggregated together. This way, again, diversifying. We're not just investing in Apple, we're investing in a bunch of different companies. So if Apple performs poorly or tech performs poorly, we're not going to lose everything because we also have money in pharmaceuticals. We also have money in construction. We have money in healthcare. I know I said pharmaceuticals, but you understand we're putting our money in an index fund, which would mean we're putting our money across a bunch of different companies, right? Apple might be high risk, high reward, but these index funds are lower risk, not low risk, not no risk, lower risk, and I would lower risk, let's say, and I would even say great reward, high reward, because people are gonna you see you can go do the numbers, right? Go on investment calculators. You can see for small investments over time, they really, really grow. And I challenge you to go look at that. Go find a website that does that because it is amazing. There's like this law of aggregating numbers. I know that's not what it's called, but where just over time money stacks and stacks and stacks, and yeah, it starts slow at the beginning, but it's a snowball effect, right? So that's why you want to invest ASAP. You do not want to wait because you're probably not going to hit it rich on the next stock. You're 80%, 90, not 95, 99% of people are only going to get rich through a regular job and regular investing and smart money habits. But it is possible. It is possible, right? Everything I've said so far, if you're, let's say, even you're 18 or under the age of 18, you should watch this video back and then go watch another money expert's video and get his opinion, not a YouTuber, right? Go listen to like what Warren Buffett has to say or like a true finance expert. But money, like you should enjoy this. Like this should be fun. It should be a game, but it shouldn't be your whole life, obviously. So let's get back into the video. I feel like we're getting a little off topic. So those are the three funds I invest in, and you might say, "Oh, I hate investing. I don't want to even think about it. I forget this week. I do this. I don't know how much money to put in. Figure out how much money to put in, or don't even do that. Do this. Okay, how much money do you think you could afford? You sort of know. You sort of know. All right, I could afford uh $20 a week. I know I could invest. Okay, so that's $80 a month. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna open a. You could choose whatever brokerage account you want. You're gonna open up a Fidelity account, and you're gonna connect your checking account to it, right? Your bank account to it, and you're gonna say, all right, weekly, pull out $20, and that's that. And guess what? Every week, $20 will be subtracted from your bank account. You don't even have to think about it, and it's going to be in your investment account. And you might say, "Oh, okay, that's great, but then I still have to go in there and I have to buy the stock every week." And no. You're going to go on to Fidelity. The money is going to be in your account. You're going to set up a recurring purchase, right? Look up, open it, go AI how to do that. You're going to set up a recurring purchase, and you're going to set up a recurring purchase of the you could even use what I said, the split that I said, the S&P 500 bonds and international fund. and do what, I don't know, go look up online what they recommend or what else someone else recommends, you know? Just play it safe. I love to play it safe with my retirement account because I know it's probably just going to be there, you know? Listen, it's still investing. It's still not 100% safe. I guess the checking account would be the safest thing. I mean, that's insured, but at the end of the day, you know, if the government goes bottoms up, that money's gone. I mean, if the government goes bottoms up, you have bigger issues, so I wouldn't even worry about it at that point. But reti- you want to be safe with your retirement account. And I think the safest way to make money is to every week take 20 bucks, have it subtracted automatically from your account. This way you know you can't touch it. Then Fidelity does everything, and I'm sure all these other places do too. It's going to buy the stocks week after week after week. You don't even have to worry about it. And in 50 years, guess what? You're going to have all that money that's been growing, and you're going to be able to live a good, decent life. And you're going to be able to take care of yourself because you're going to have the money necessary to do all this stuff, right? Don't be stupid. Don't be stupid. You can have fun. You could spend your money. You do want to have fun. You do want to spend your money. I'm not saying max out your accounts, but start taking steps. Even if it's $1, start taking steps to saving and investing and start learning the processes. If you have $1, you can split it up. Take 5%, take 5 cents, put it in your retirement account. Take 10 cents, put it towards your debt. Take 30 cents, put it in your savings. You see what I'm saying? And start learning. Start learning smart money habits. Okay. So we covered your retirement account. Let's cover savings account, right? This is pretty simple. You can really just have a checking account at the end of the day. Checking account is like when you go to the ATM, you press checking, and uh, yeah, I don't know. I don't really know much about it. I do know it's basically just like your money is there with the bank, they're holding it, and it earns a very low percentage, right? You do make like a penny a month off the money sitting in your checking account. But if you have a lot of money, you don't want you listen, it doesn't matter. Have it all sit there, right? Have it all sit in a checking account. But if you just want to make a little bit extra money, you want to get a little bonus point, find like a high yield savings account that's FDIC insured and put your money there. And even there, you're not getting great returns. It might be like 4% annualized a month, which means if you have $100, you're going to make $4 off that $100. So you'll end the year with $104. So, like, listen, is it life changing? No, but it's a heck of a lot more. I think with a bank, if you're making 4%, or sorry, with a high yield savings, if you're making 4%, with a bank, you might be making 0.05%. And I don't even think I'm exaggerating that. So you are making a lot more money with the high yield. And it's something to look into if you just have, you know, a lot of money now just sitting in your checking account. Say you have more than 3 to 6 months now in your checking account, you have like 12 months. You might want to take 3 of those months, 4 of those months, maybe even 6 of those months, and just put that into a high yield savings account and just let that grow. And you're not really going to want to touch that. You're going to touch your checking account. You're not going to touch that high yield savings account. But for the beginner investing, you're not even going to get there, right? That's like the next level. That's like after you save the $1,000, after you have the 3 to 6 month expenses, after you've paid off your credit card bills and maybe if you start getting a little more comfortable, you have a little student debt. Now you can start putting some money into a high yield savings account, put some money toward, or a lot of money towards your debt, and, start to organize your life a little bit. Which leads me to my next point. And one of my final points is just know where your money is going, right? Know how much money is coming in and know how much money is going out. And you don't need to know every single penny, but there's a lot of bank accounts that make it easy to see, okay, I'm spending $500 a month on food, right? It tells you that. And it's a pie graph and it shows where most of my money is going. And I'm not saying don't buy clothing, don't buy fun stuff, don't spend the money how you want to spend the money. Have fun with your money, right? That's a personal decision. But what I would ask is that you take some money, whatever it is, some amount of money, and start to learn smart money habits. Start to learn investing. Start to learn about your retirement, right? Start to learn where your money is going. And if you think it's becoming a problem, right? I spend a lot of money on Uber Eats. Oh my gosh, I look at my Uber Eats bill, it's like, oh shoot, I really need to cut down. So, am I going to say no more Uber Eats? No, I'm not going to say that. I could say that. Yeah, maybe I would go cold turkey. But I enjoy Uber Eats. I think it's a good service. So I might say, all right, I'm going to order Uber Eats 50% less. I'm going to cut it down. So I'll order Uber Eats every 1 in 2 times that I want to do it. And maybe that means every other week instead of every week, or every other day instead of every day, right? So I'm cutting back my habits, but I'm still allowing myself to enjoy the services that I'm paying for. And that's really it. So just to review, the 3 things is get a retirement account, whether that's 401k or IRA. Get a savings account, which is really just a bank account, and start saving money dollar by dollar. Whatever you can, You 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 you'll want that money a lot more later than now. And you don't know what's going to come up and what's behind the corner. And money will allow you to weather that storm a lot better. For obviously for things that money can control. And that's it. So diversify, but let's keep it simple. Don't stress yourself out with this. You want to set up something that's easy, that's quick, that can be managed easily, and that's smart. And that's what I tried to do in this video. And if you go back and listen, I feel like, yeah, you can invest in individual stocks, and we could talk about that in maybe another video. But I wanted this video to just say, if I was just going to do the bare minimum and get the maximum result, that's what this video is. If I want to do the bare minimum and still probably be a millionaire, and listen, not everyone will be, because there's a lot to consider. But if you want to set yourself up a lot to make, I don't even want to say millionaire. Let's not put that pressure on anyone. To be a lot better, well off in the future, and you will be if you follow these steps. I would almost guarantee, of course, not 100%, but I would say 90 of every 100 people that did these things would be significantly financially better off. And if you don't agree, let me know. One other thing, and I should have put this at the beginning, but this is a little bonus. Dollar cost average. I said it. Basically, what that means is just take money weekly, monthly, and invest over and over on a scheduled basis. I don't care if prices are high, I don't care if prices are low. I'm just investing over and over the same thing. And that's why these automatic investments, these recurring investments, these recurring transfers from my bank account are great because I don't even think about it. I set it up once, and now guess what? I take a deep breath. I focus on my job. I focus on making that primary money. And as long as that's getting funneled into my bank account, I know that my retirement accounts are being taken care of. I know my savings accounts are being funded with recurring transfers. So make it easy because it is. Don't complicate things. Don't get the stock tip from your friend, right? That can be fun. And maybe you want to take 10% of the money. Take, that money that you're maybe, I don't know, doing whatever with and put it into a fun stock and say, what the heck? But if you want to talk about smart investing is boring. And I think the steps I laid out is considered a smart investment. Let me know what you think. Thank you for your time.